Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. We're gonna talk about Kevin Hart and this new interview with him where he talks about cancel culture in the Times UK, that he's making a ton of money. He's not afraid of cancel culture, and Twitter's not reacting very well. Twitter thinks it's consequence culture. It's not actually cancel culture. And we're going to talk about Kevin Hart and kind of the sad state of comedy right now in the world, because you're not allowed to be funny because you might offend somebody. But Kevin Hart doesn't give a shit. He really doesn't. We're going to talk about that. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 198,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. Geeky is sitting this one out, but she will be back on later today in some other videos. I don't think she really cared about this one too much, but I think it's pretty fascinating, right? Kevin Hart, who got canceled a couple of years ago from hosting the Oscars because they dug up some tweets from, I think, 10, 12 years ago, where he made some jokes that some people thought were homophobic, and they canceled Kevin Hart from the Oscars. And basically, I think they were willing to take him back, as I understand it, if he apologized profusely. That's what you're supposed to do, is give a full-throated apology. And he's like, yeah, no. Hard pass, not coming back. And he's definitely doing his own thing, and I have a lot of respect for him in that regard. And I think more people need to just be like, hell no, I'm not apologizing, because it doesn't matter. It's kind of like Transformers, the movie, with the Quintessons. It doesn't matter if you're guilty or innocent. They're going to feed you to the Sharkticons anyway, right? So you might as well go out on a high note and be like, yep, if I'm going to get canceled anyway, I'm going to say what I think. We saw this happen the other day with Scott Cawthon, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's. They're coming after him because he gave money to Trump and Mitch McConnell, I guess. And now they're trying to cancel him via Twitter, via Reddit. And he's basically like, I'm not apologizing. I did what I did. I believe what I believe, and I'm not apologizing. So I think that's kind of how you deal with this, is you don't apologize. People who want to cancel get off on the power dynamics. And the thing is if you kowtow, if you apologize, they're not going to leave you alone. They're always going to remember that you did something disagreeable they didn't like. They're going to be watching you, and they'll just circle back around. They might eat you last, but they're absolutely going to eat you at some point. So anyway, let's talk about this article coming from the times.co.uk. I've only had 2 good movie reviews. It doesn't bother me. I'm no stranger to negative feedback. Kevin Hart, the world's highest earning comedian, on his new film Fatherhood, and why he's had it with cancel culture, right? Some people, again, on Twitter, not happy. Paraphrasing, Eddie Murphy, some of my old stand-up was harmful. Cat Williams, if you can't do stand-up comedy without being harmful, maybe this ain't for you. Kevin Hart, don't care. Discussing Film says Kevin Hart says that comics feel censored and have lost the freedom once attached to their craft. You're thinking that the things you say will come back and bite you on the ass. I can't be the comic today that I was when I got into this. Yeah, that's unfortunate. We've seen this before, though. You know, Sarah Silverman, Jerry Seinfeld, some other comedians have come out. John Cleese, just trying to think off the top of my head, Billy Crystal. You know, all of these comedians are like, we're not allowed to be funny anymore. You know, we're not allowed to be funny anymore. And maybe some of them weren't funny to begin with, but you know what I'm saying, right? So yeah, this is, let's see, we'll go out to People. People said Kevin Hart denounces cancel culture. That's not how I operate. I've been canceled, 3 or 4 times? Never bothered, Hart said in a news interview with the Sunday Times. He's still making ridiculous money. Kevin Hart isn't afraid to share his opinion on cancel culture after being on the receiving end during controversial moments in his career. In a new interview with the Sunday Times, the 41-year-old actor and comedian bared his opinions on the topic, saying, I personally don't give a shit about it. If somebody has done something truly damaging, then absolutely a consequence should be attached. But we just talk about nonsense? He continued, when we were talking, someone said they need to be taken down. Shut the F up. What are you talking about? Hart, who stars in the upcoming father-daughter movie Fatherhood, said, when did we get to a point where life was supposed to be perfect? Where people were supposed to operate perfectly all the time? I don't understand. I don't expect perfection from my kids. I don't expect it from my wife, friends, employees, he continued, because last I checked, the only way you grow up is from effing up. I don't know a kid who hasn't effed up or done some dumb shit. Hart then touched on his own experiences with cancel culture, telling the Times, I've been canceled, 3 or 4 times? Never bothered. If you allow it to have an effect on you, it will. Personally, that's not how I operate. I understand people are human. Everyone can change. Yeah, that's the thing. But a lot of times what they want you to do is apologize for things that you really don't owe an apology for. Or if you apologize, it's never enough. And the bar keeps moving. The goalpost keeps moving. What is offensive, it changes. It changes every damn month at this point. Like, God, it's insane. And we have a lot of very liberal comedians coming out and saying this has gone too far. This cancel culture thing has gone too far. Now, maybe they're only saying it now because it's starting to bite them in the pocketbook, bite them in the wallet, because, they're being canceled for saying problematic things. But, it's going to get to a point where nobody's allowed to say anything out of turn. Very scary. It's a very scary place to be, I think, right now. Everybody has to watch everything they say. If you're a public figure, so stupid. You can be canceled for anything. He said it's not necessarily about cancel culture. It's backlash. It's about the intent behind what you say. The intent. There's an assumption it's always bad and somehow we forgot comedians are going for the laugh. You're not saying something to make people angry. That's not why I'm on stage. I'm trying to make you laugh, and if I did not make you laugh, I failed. That's my consequence. They mentioned how after the Oscar mess, he said he would only get on that stage when he figured out how to win an actual award. He nods. Is fatherhood the type of project he meant? Life has a funny way of working itself out. Would they give him an Oscar? Would they even give him an Oscar at this point? Would they nominate him? Because he basically told them, as I recall, to piss off. He wasn't going to apologize. He wasn't going to host the Oscars. This is, it's just insane. It's insane where we've gotten. But the beginning of the article, they talk about how much money he's making right now. He's extremely attracted to business. Adding later, he thinks he could be a billionaire by the time he's 45. He turns 42 next month and is worth $200 million. So he has some work to do. But he is the highest earning stand-up comedian in the world. The next highest, Jerry Seinfeld, isn't even close. So he's making ridiculous money. So I don't know, guys. It's interesting. I think we're going to see a lot of comedians, musicians, artists pushing back against cancel culture, because that's what this does. That's what censorship does. Is it kills creativity. It kills careers. It kills progress. It really does kill progress, because as long as certain things are taboo to talk about, we never talk about them. We never come to an understanding about things, because you're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to, if you're a certain kind of person, you can't talk about this other group of people or whatever, so nobody can actually reach an understanding. Just my opinion. Of course, I think we need to have free ideas and free speech, within reason. I understand people don't want to get caught in the crossfire of political discourse, or have their communities, their message boards, social media, whatever, polluted with a bunch of obscenities or that kind of thing, and that's your right. But if we can't even talk about it, we can't even talk through things because it's taboo to talk about it. I remember at the beginning of COVID, at the beginning of the pandemic, YouTube wouldn't even allow you to talk about the pandemic. We were supposed to ignore what was the biggest thing going on in the world. We're not allowed to talk about it at all. It was absolutely ridiculous. And we still see that kind of censorship on social media. I think they're trying to avoid backlash or whatever. And all that happens is it makes people angry. It makes people furious with the platforms, because they're like, we can't say anything without getting in trouble. Let the onus go on me. If I say something stupid, then that's my responsibility, right? It's not your job to necessarily police what we say. And yeah, people do change. If you say something stupid when you're a teenager and at 60 years old, somebody digs up an email or something, years down the road and says, "Oh my God, can you believe what they said?" It's like, well, you got to cancel that guy? The guy's got, 40 some years of life experience under his belt, but they totally would. Twitter totally would do it. Absolutely. And I don't think Twitter is going to be around in 40 some years. I think people are getting tired of it. I'm going to wrap this up. Pretty interesting stuff, though. I think that the tide is turning a little bit anyway, because we just need more people who have a dog in it to push back. And again, if you're doing something really egregious, illegal or whatever, then cancellation, I do believe, is consequence. But if you're just telling jokes, and maybe you made some jokes that you wouldn't make current year 10, 15, 20 years ago, you shouldn't be canceled for that. That's stupid. It's really freaking stupid. Go wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.